secret storeroom. Evidence everywhere. Journals, drawings. Looks like...
Oh my God! At precisely 11:03 p.m.
There's images hearing.
Heavy interference at the moment of our reported death.
Here's an entire file.
I can't hold the image on video. Are you getting this?
Boris Shuster. What's that mean?
It's down. Oh my gosh!
Physical presence detected.
Are you getting this? Video and audio, right? Right?
If this doesn't qualify as level 2, nothing ever will.
Level 1, that's damn right, level 1.
Definitely, level 1. No, wait, it's right behind you. It is right behind you.
Since time began, the world has been divided between light and dark, between the obvious and the unexplained. In the light, there is clarity, reason, and order. But in the dark, there is mystery, horror, and fear. Legendary Truth seeks to shed light on the darkness, explain the inexplicable, and delve deep into the unknown. We do not undertake this quest alone. Welcome to the Collective.
Historically, inspiration for tales of the macabre has been found in a variety of places and in various situations, but none is more terrifying than the true account and stories that centered on one location in particular, a movie theater. The discovery of long-forgotten materials stored in the California-based Universal Archives and Collections Library resulted in renewed interest in one theater out of hundreds and reignited an earlier attempt to recreate the building in miniature. The current project resumed exhaustive research into the actual Palace Theater, one of 317 movie houses built in the 1920s by Universal's Carl Lumley Jr. Forced into liquidation in the late 1930s, the Palace, along with all Universal-owned theaters, passed into private ownership. Documentation of its history yielded a growing body of material from a variety of resources, and it became clear that the reports wove a tale of unexplained horror that defied explanation. Drawing inspiration from this unsavory legacy, producers, writers, and artists began assembling the elements necessary to recreate the Universal Palace Theatre. Archive materials, rediscovered in the research phase, were carefully restored and remastered through state-of-the-art technology. Decayed blueprints were redrafted and transferred into AutoCAD drawings, then exported into SketchUp models, and finally colorized and photoshopped into full-color renderings. Using photosynth assembly, the various images were compiled onto a point cloud database to give model makers an extremely detailed rendering of what the theatre looked like in its prime, and to assist them in recreating the space today. Wherever appropriate and accurate, figurines were crafted to represent the individuals reported to have been victims of the theatre's horrifying history. The true stories, in particular those involving theatre usher Julian Browning, the subsequent accounts and descriptions of the gruesome events and unexplained tragedies that befell the theatre, formed the basis for the project. Witnesses claimed, even long after his death, the usher had been present at each of the tragedies. While the restoration project reached conclusion, the mystery itself does not end. Reports that the usher's presence can be felt to this day persist. The Universal Palace Theatre is once again complete, and Julian Browning is home.
Good evening, moviegoers, and welcome to the Universal Palace. Since her grand opening in October 1922, all of Hollywood's greatest movies have graced her screens. She is a proud and dignified lady, one that demands the proper respect and dignity. She will not be insulted, and rude behavior will not be tolerated. Ever. Buy a ticket to the Universal Palace, and let me usher you into an experience you will never, ever forget. Tickets, please.
The recreation you see before you is the result of countless hours of painstaking research and many months of hard work by meticulous historians, scholars, dedicated artists, and talented model makers. The project began with a time-intensive process of gathering images of the theater throughout its existence. Old photographs from newspapers, amazingly accurate chronicle documenting the history of the Universal Palace Theater from its groundbreaking ceremony in 1920 to its closing. The palace, like many movie houses, began as so many renovated music halls and opera houses built at the turn of the century, but a series of events that set this particular theater apart. Events that were unexplained, often strange happenings and bizarre reports of patrons suffering accidents. These and instances that defy explanation was reported a series of tragedies that involved reported to be criminally insane. It was the terrible discovery of were mangled and disfigured, never seen again. It was one incident in particular that led reportedly had an insatiable hunger for meat products. But the incident was never reported to the police. And it was this unbelievably dark history that inspired the project from its beginning.
What are you doing? Why do you have a tape recorder? Why am I in these straps? Get me out of this!
We always tape the sessions with the new patients, and the restraints are for your safety.
I do not feel very safe!
Now, you say you were able to locate the place where the town of Lightning Gulch once stood. Over 120 years ago? Tell me about it.
Researching sites is a hobby, okay? I bought a roll-top desk at some sale.
Uh-huh.
I opened it up and I found this newspaper. And there was a telegram and some map. It was like a gold claim.
Tell me more.
I compared the map to things I found. I compared the map to all kinds of stuff. The topographic maps, other rivers. And I found that it might be a nice place to explore. Get me out of this! Come on!
And you say you found the actual site?
That is the problem. I did find the site. I found the whole town. It was right there, like it never left. Like it was brand new. It was during a thunderstorm. There was lightning everywhere. Could you please loosen these straps?
I'm sorry, I can't do that.
I was in the town, don't you understand? I was there. I walked down its streets. I went into a saloon. There were cards on the table still. There were cigars burning. Drinks that were there that hadn't been finished yet. There were gold coins everywhere.
Uh-huh. Okay, so where is the problem?
The problem is, it took some of the coins. Ever since I took those damn coins, nothing's been right. I hear people behind me all the time. They're in my house. They're in my mind. Get out of my head!
And you believe that if you return the coins, all of this will go away?
I know it will. Yeah. I gotta go back to that town. I did go back to it once, and it wasn't there. I have to find it again. Don't you see? They want their money back. They want me to give all their money back. It's their gold. They want it back. They'll do anything.
Calm yourself.
Get out of my head!
I'm afraid that's all the time we have this week. We'll have to pick it up in our next session. How's next Friday the 13th?
What are you talking about? I'm in this all the time!
In the news, bringing you the latest from around the country and around the world. Radio Picture News spans the globe in search of stories that matter to you. Flash. Prison riot erupts at Hellgate Prison, perhaps the most notorious jail in the free world. Hellgate Prison is the scene of complete and total chaos as crazed inmates overpower guards and a group of tourists visiting for the day. Once considered a model correctional facility, Hellgate has become more infamous than Alcatraz. Given a choice, the toughest of the tough would prefer to spend their prison years in the Rock instead of the Gate. Because of one man, Warden Robert L. Strickland. Robert L. Strickland, the hard-boiled warden with 30 years under his belt, is responsible for the execution of more than 50 men in Hellgate's fearsome electric chair, Old Smoky, personally pulling the switch on each and every man. An imposing individual and fiercely proud of his work, Warden Strickland recently opened Hellgate Prison to curious visitors eager to see for themselves what it is like to watch men die. For the price of a trolley ride, tourists get the complete tour, a box lunch, and a souvenir photo with the warden himself. Now, all that has changed as prisoners battle with guards. Bullets fly, and the cell blocks run red with a river of spilled blood. Hellgate Prison is in the news, and you are there.
Hey, it's me. I just wanted to let you know I made it up here, and the place is as creepy as everyone said it would be. In fact, I'm surprised my cell gets a signal this far. Anyway, this sort of thing doesn't bother me. I can't say the same thing for the cab driver. He split as soon as you dropped me off. I guess the Tao sisters will be here soon to welcome me for the night. Yeah, bye for now. Hey, it's me again. Are you there? Pick up if you're there. Look, I've been waiting up here for a couple of hours and no one's shown up. This is starting to piss me off. It's cold and it's foggy and totally unpleasant. Yeah, I'm wandering around the base of some rundown castle. Call me back when you get this message, alright? I think one of the doors in the garden's back wall is open. I'm gonna go in if no one shows up here soon. Call me at my cell as soon as you get this, okay?